Nika Norvna and Nika Norvich had lived in a village for a long time, and all the villagers believed that they were siblings due to the similarity between them and that they also had the same family name. But in fact, they're a married couple, and they've been living together for 30 years. When people discovered the truth about this couple, they began to wonder why they didn't have children, and their speculation remained limited to whether God might not have given them children or that they did not want to. Norvich was working as a wild hunter. He roamed the forest near the village, hunted animals, gathered forest fruits and mushrooms, and raised some livestock at his home. On her part, Norvna was working as a saleswoman in a store in the village, as she wanted to collect money so that she and her husband could buy a car. When the two got married 30 years ago, Norvna discovered that she was pregnant 3 months later, but she lost her baby when she was attacked by a wolf in the woods. The young woman at that time approached a small cub she found in the woods and kept caressing him, but his mother suddenly attacked her. When she was taken to the hospital, the doctors told her that her fetus had died. This did not affect the relationship between the spouses, and they remained together and loved each other, although Norvna did not get pregnant after that. Their only dream was to have a child, a girl, but this did not happen, which made them lose hope with the passage of time, and they forgot it completely. The end of the year feast approached, and like all families, Norvich and his wife bought all the necessities for the New Year celebration. On the last day of the year, Norvna prepared a delicious cake and delicious dishes, and decorated the Christmas tree that her husband had brought for her. On that day, the husband ate lunch and went for a tour in the woods, hoping to catch something while the wife continued preparing for the party. Norvich was absent for a long time as darkness fell, and he did not return, which worried his wife because the man usually spent most of the last day of the year at home and helped his wife with the housework. After Norvna finished preparing everything, she sat on the sofa waiting for her husband's return, and suddenly heard a knock on the door. When she got up quickly to open the door, thinking that her husband had returned, she found there a beautiful woman wearing a bright white dress. The clothes were elegant and beautiful, which indicated that she was a rich woman. Norvna invited her strange guest to her house, brought her tea and food, and then offered to spend a New Year's party with her. The guest refused to eat, took Norvna by her hand and asked her to close her eyes, and then promised her that she would be happy in her life and that in the near future she would have 2 children, a boy and a girl. Then she asked her to ask God for this a few seconds before the New Year and assured her that it would come true. Norvna remained speechless, but she was suddenly happy and smiled. Meanwhile, that woman got up and thanked the wife for the cup of tea, and then left in the stormy weather where the snow was falling heavily and the wind was strong. Moments later, Norvich returned home and sat with his wife waiting for midnight. The man noticed that his wife was very happy and tried to inquire about the reason for this happiness, but the wife refused to tell him what had happened to her. Seconds after the advent of the new year, Norvna held her husband's hand and closed her eyes and began to ask God to grant her happiness and a child. Then she hugged her husband for a long time and they began celebrating New Year's Day. When the couple finished celebrating, Norvich heard a strange sound outside. Then he was immediately stunned when he checked it out and found a small newborn child who was about to freeze and a wolf standing next to him. The wolf kept looking into the eyes of Norvich as if he wanted to tell him something. Then the wolf left immediately to the forest while the little man carried the young child in his hands and kept examining him and then brought him into the house. When Norvich entered the house, he immediately went to the stove, placed a mattress on the floor, placed the child on it, and then called his wife. When she came, Norvna saw the boy. She grabbed her head in amazement. Then she smiled and approached the little boy and started caressing him and wiping his head. She realized that the wish had been fulfilled and that the strange woman was right. The wife hugged the little one and then brought him some milk. The little one drank all the milk that was in the bottle and kept crying as if to ask for more. Then Norvna went and filled the bottle again. The little boy appeared to be in good health, opening his beautiful blue eyes and looking at the wife, who was very happy to carry him in her arms. The couple kept wondering how this little boy had managed to survive that long, and how the wolf thought about bringing him to their home. Nordovich called the police the next day and told them what they'd found. But the police officer asked him to keep the little boy in his house, and if someone searches for him, they'll call him to bring him to the center. The investigation, which was opened by the police officers in the village, proved that there had been no births in the village for several months, which indicated that the child was not from the village. The couple decided to keep the baby at home and began to consider adopting him if his parents did not show up. Norvna was enthusiastic to adopt the child because she was aware that it was a gift from God, and she asked her husband to go to the newborn registration center in the village and request custody of the child. This is what they did the next day. When they took the custody application file with them, they got the right to adopt the child to become their adopted son. One night, while Norvna was watching a TV program, she suddenly saw the woman who came to visit her on New Year's Eve talking with the presenter. As it turned out, she's a famous fortune teller in the country, and she goes every New Year to a house and fulfills the family's aspirations. Then the wife smiled and realized that last year she was lucky to visit the woman's home. Norvna's dream of having a son had come true, and she became very happy in her life with her husband, just as the woman promised her. But who would bring her the daughter that this fortune teller promised her? The wife waited every day in front of the door, hoping that the wolf who brought the boy, whom she called Alec, to bring her a little girl. But this did not happen, which made her feel very disappointed. After 3 months, she lost hope, as she thought her wish would never be fulfilled. But one day, she felt that she was not feeling well, and there was a strange pain in her stomach. Then she went with Nordovich to the clinic in the village to be examined. There, when the doctors conducted an X-ray examination, they found out that she was pregnant and in her 3rd month with a girl. The wife felt happy and hastened to tell her husband about this happy news that made her the happiest woman in the world. Doctors could not believe what they saw, as they'd never seen a pregnant woman of that advanced age. Norvna was well aware that this woman was the reason for the birth of her daughter, whom she had always dreamed of, and that she'd managed to change her life for the better after losing hope that she would have children. On the last day of the year, Norvna gave birth to a newborn baby. And the strange thing was that it was the same day that they'd found her son. For the couple, they were about to begin a new phase of their lives with their 2 beautiful children.